Grandpa Boo. The Conservatives say that they can now find an extra $11 billion of government spending that can be cut from the federal budget. They say they can now balance the budget in the 2014 to 2015 fiscal year, 1 year ahead of schedule.
You don't say. What prompted this remarkable change? Why, it was only 2 weeks ago that the Harper government presented its budget, and there were no savings to be found then. What has happened since then?
No one knows, Grandpa Boo. Maybe a leprechaun appeared in a dream to Jim Flaherty, the Minister of Finance. Maybe the leprechaun said that if Jimmy Boy followed the rainbow to its end, he would find a pot of gold. $11 billion, in fact. And so the Harper government is following the rainbow.
Really? Is that what they're calling it? The pot of gold at the end of the rainbow?
Well, no. In fact, they refer to the extra $11 billion in savings as strategic and operating review savings. But they say the money is there, free for the taking.
I find that extremely difficult to believe, Niboo. Remember, it was not that long ago that the John Gratian government cut the civil service in Ottawa to the bone, causing great hardship in many areas of Ottawa. It's hard to believe that there's that much fat left in the government. And even if there was, who is responsible for letting it develop? After all, the Harper Conservatives have been in power now for 5 years. What were they doing all this time?
But Grandpa Boo, they wouldn't lie to the Canadian voter, would they?
You bet they would, Niboo. The Conservatives have been lying to the Canadian voter ever since they were first elected in 2006. Remember the promise not to tax income trusts? Broken. The promise not to appoint any more senators until there was an elected Senate? Broken. The promise to hold elections on fixed election days? Broken. The promise to not put the government back into deficit spending? Broken. There's probably other promises that I can't think of at the moment that the Conservatives broke. But that's a pretty good list for now.
Holy Diefenbaker, Grandpa Boo. You really get worked up about this.
I just find it outrageous that the Conservatives are making such absurd promises to the Canadian voter just to get elected to a majority government, or so they hope. The campaign promises they have made so far are already too ridiculous to believe. They must think we're a nation of idiots.
But Canadians have already elected the Conservatives to a minority government twice. What does that say about us, Grandpa Boo?
Well, I hesitate to think about it, Niboo. Perhaps Canadians are a gullible people, ready to believe any absurd promise that the Conservatives are willing to make. Jimmy Carter once said that America deserved a government as good as the American people. Perhaps the same is true of Canada.
Well, I would hope we were better than that, Grandpa Boo.
We will see on May 2nd, Niboo. So those of you watching at home, make sure you vote.
And it's all for me grog, me jolly, jolly grog. All for me beer and tobacco. For I spent all me tin with a lassie drinking gin. Far across the western ocean I must wander. Well, now where are me boots, me noggin, noggin boots? All gone for beer and tobacco.